My name's Anna Naomi D'Souza. I'm a producer, Al Jazeera English. I'm based in London. I'm a filmmaker, and I've lately been working on the Rebel Architecture series, for which I directed two films, Guerrilla Architect and The Architecture of Violence. In terms of the production, there were really obvious practical difficulties that anyone who works in Israel-Palestine would be really familiar with. We had to work with three different crews, really. So we had to plan our shoot that we couldn't. I mean, this is the thing about working in Israel-Palestine. You could be either side of a border in two places that are really close to each other, but you can't just go from one to the other. So we couldn't go and shoot in Ramallah, for example, in the city of Ramallah, and then just go up the hill to the settlement of Sargot, which is right above it, overlooking the city. I mean, they're basically next to each other. But we had to do them separately, because to go to Ramallah we needed to go with a Palestinian crew and with a Palestinian fixer and a driver, and to go to the settlement we had to go with an Israeli, and we had to go on a completely separate road network. So there were kind of practical things like that. And yeah, I mean, it's a difficult place to film in some ways. I don't think that what Eyal Weizman is saying is that the occupation is purely architecture. I think he's just saying that the architecture is a way of analysing the politics of power on the ground. And I think that those are two different things that shouldn't be confused. But you'd have to ask him for a response, I guess, to most of those points, because it's his work that we're representing, and they're actually his words and his ideas. The idea behind Rebel Architects is to make films about the architect, but it's about an architect and their work. So this film is about Eyal Weizman and his work. It's not an objective look at architecture in Israel and Palestine in 25 minutes, and it would have been foolish to attempt that. And we never set out to do that, and we never say that that's what it is. It isn't. There are obviously other Israeli architects, some opposed to the occupation, some who support the occupation, some who are building settlements, some who support the wall, some who don't. There are lots of really fascinating Palestinian architects using architecture as a form of resistance, and doing really wonderful things. And there's fascinating projects in Hebron and in Bethlehem and in Beit Sahur and in all of these places. But it's a 25-minute film. So yeah, I mean, it's restrictive, but it never intends to be an objective